scrap business, and I've been operating skid steers and other machinery just since I was like 4 years old. So I guess that's how I've always been. Like, I just like to operate and drive stuff to their limit. It's always been in me. Luke's cool as a cucumber on track and in the paddock. Right, Luke? I mean, me and Luke are technically teammates. We're in the same garage. We talk to each other all the time, at the track, at home. I live like 4 hours from him, but we'll talk on the phone all the time. He's definitely slightly faster than me. Practice, I was like fighting my mindset. I knew what times I should be running close to, and I was like, I am way off. Like, I don't really know if the car's making as much power as it should be, or if it's making too much. But I was like, I'll get those sorted out by qualifying. I'll go over some data with Luke. Then the car broke. Okay, got a problem here. Road America, cool down lap, car shuts down, doesn't really have any faults, oil pressure looks fine. And then back in the garage, again, nothing really looks wrong with the car. And you crank it, it pukes oil out of the catch can. The fuel pressure's fine, the spark, we checked one spark plug was okay. So why would that happen exactly? Eric Magnuson, he has an LS in his car. Luke, Adam Ulrich, like all of them have LSs with dry sump systems. It's like, oh, have you ever seen this? Like, is this something you've ever dealt with? Okay, let's pull this apart and watch this while it cranks. Let's pull this apart and watch this while it cranks. No, I know, but can you see a rocker arm to see if like a timing chain broke or something? Does that all look like it's still plugged in? The stress was definitely building a lot because at that point I still felt like I could make qualifying and I still felt like my race weekend was salvageable. I just like didn't want to believe it was like a mechanical problem that was gonna stop my weekend. Okay, all right, we're gonna try to pull the crank sensor out. I think my crank sensor failed. I'm gonna fix this and I'm racing this weekend. Like that was determined. Get nervous, like, oh, like, is this gonna be it? Should I go put my race suit on while Joey buttons this up and like maybe I can like go make it out right as they're rolling. All right, go ahead, crank it. Where's Luke? What the heck is going on? No, it's still not fixed.
We've got cars on course right now for GridLife Touring Cup qualifying. Missing from the top 20 is the runner-up in the championship right now. That's Matan Rosenberg. And I don't see him.
I don't know if I saw him. I don't think I've seen him come across us either.
And as far as I knew, everything was running well for him.
Yeah.
But he does not appear to have made a lap so far.
Let's yank all the spark plugs. Sometimes when you get in that mindset of, I'm gonna get this fixed, then you like overlook or like force yourself not to look at obvious things like,
holy shit.
Number 7 spark plug is crushed.
Oh, that's a problem. Valve or piston or both.
The saddest part about it all is we spent 3 hours diagnosing it, 4 hours, because we didn't pull that plug because it was super far back. So I don't know. I mean, we're gonna take it apart. I mean, like part of me is like, I don't know, just leave it and fix it next year, you know? It is what it is. Like being upset about it doesn't help. So like you're like fighting, am I gonna go like mope around the track or like, you know, pack up all my stuff and just go home and be upset about it? You can't let yourself go down that road.
Welcome to Road America. Kyle Heyer joined by Owen Horst and by Matan Rosenberg. And Matan, welcome. So I assume you're done for the weekend. Is that sort of the scenario, or you're looking to try to fix how?
No, my engine's done for the weekend, unfortunately. But I already drove out here, and I already have camp set up. So I'm going to enjoy the GRIDLIFE Festival.
Awesome. One of the most scenic tracks in North America. Probably one of the most scenic tracks in the world. GRIDLIFE Touring Cup, race number 1 from Road America. Green flag, and we're racing at the National Park of Speed, and a good launch by the 330 and the 41. Gary Wimble pops out looking 3 wide, and it's a dead heat. Lichty versus McGrew towards turn 1. Big pack of cars. They're 3 wide to the first corner here. Matan, tight quarters on this opening lap.
Lots of 3 wide action there going on. Looks like everybody made it through clean so far. Looks good. It was difficult watching there. Like, you kind of have to think to yourself, like, man, like, could I have been challenging that guy right now? You know, like, could I have been fighting for that spot?
Defense from the 7 down towards turn 5.
Same with Aaron.
I think Luke was side by side with Eric Magnuson. Looks like they single filed
Wow,
out
Dana's
now.
keep holding it together. Can he hold it around the outside of turn 7 here?
Big wiggle, he's off, and Whipple spins right center track, and that's a bad place to be. Contact and crash at turn 6, and Eric Cattill's nose
collected from there a little bit too.
all punched in.
Yeah.
And that is going to be very, very frustrating. We saw Austin Hurdle in there. We saw Tyler Pappas in the midst of all that. Yeah, full course yellow in this one. Let's have a look at the replay of this incident.
Not everybody's dealt with crash damage, but almost all of us have assembled our cars. They spent all the money and time to get here. They put in all the hours and hours and hours in their garage, at their shop, and it's like gone, right? And so, like, you feel for them a lot. You really hate to see it. You know, you're watching from this perspective, and especially for me, you know, these are my friends who I race with all the time. But hopefully everybody can learn from the situation and come away and talk about it.
Well, it's not under the conditions we wanted, but checkered flag for the end of day 1 and for GRIDLIFE Touring Cup Race 1. Luke McGrew is going to add to the win total that he has gotten this season. It'll be his 7th win of 2024.
Like, I think I can get back out there. I mean, I don't know what I'll do with the bumper.
Leave it, tape it up. That was terrible to watch. It really was.
I thought I could fucking save it too. Like, I'm sorry to be part of the cause of this chain reaction. I saw that.
I think the mindset you need to have is just be as clean as you can on track at all times, but still you have to know in the back of your head, you know, anything can happen to anybody, you know, at any time. I mean, you can get just caught up in something, and that's just kind of what happened this weekend.
Shit has hit the figurative fan, and there's a lot of guys here that love to jump in and solve problems. And so when that happens, you just try to build up a little enthusiasm, empathize with the person who's struggling, and help them out. This series, more than any other, seems to bring the best out of people. It's like an insurance policy, right? Like knowing that the collective will come to support you when you have an individual, you know, bad day or bad experience. So I want to pitch in with the guys, and you know, part of that's because I enjoy the challenge, and another part of it is because I know they do the same for me.
I think we all know what we want, and I think yesterday was not what we want. I want 3 absolutely perfect races, and I know we can do it because we have done it many, many times. This place is very dangerous. I don't want to pull anybody out of a wall. I don't want anybody to have to fix their shit tonight, or tomorrow, or next week, before the next race. I don't want anybody to quit after the race. I don't want anybody to go to the hospital. It's all very, very real. This place is very dangerous.
Yesterday, we didn't get the race that we were hoping for. Matan, an early accident at turn 7 after a spin. Unfortunately, Austin Hurdle's weekend looks to be over and done with. The car should be repairable. Eric Cattill, though, he got his car repaired, and I saw that car out here this morning. He looks good to go.
Yeah, it looked like a bunch of guys got together and helped Eric get that thing knocked back into shape a little bit, good enough to race today. So I think as long as we can get some green racing, I think it's going to be a great race here.
We'll try this again. GRIDLIFE Touring Cup at Road America. Green flag flies. Magnuson gets a great launch in the 330. They're side by side down towards turn 1.
Look at that. Is that James Howden helping Eric Magnuson push by Luke?
Through the first corner.
Eric Magnuson pulled a little bit ahead of Luke McGrew there. Luke's car is going to be real strong in this middle straight, so it'll be interesting to see how he closes the gap here. You know, in your own car, you only have control of what you are doing. You make the decision of how much room you leave and how close to the limit you're going to push it. And it is only amplified and more obvious when you're in a car racing, doing 100 through the kink next to somebody, right? Everybody has to be precise, everybody has to be on their game. everybody has to be in the right mindset of, you know, I'm not going to make a move when it really isn't there.
Now coming up through Billy Mitchell Bend, turn 13, Magnuson with the 7 trailing hot on his heels. Luke has already driven right by him on the outside. Luke McGrew takes the lead away towards turn 1. Can anybody defeat Luke McGrew? The strength of that car has been in a straight line. Here comes Lichty, deep on the brakes into 5 on the outside of Eric Magnuson.
You know, if Lichty keeps pressuring Eric like this and keeps battling, it might just allow Luke to run away with this. Looks like the pace car is coming out here, Kyle.
And looks like we do have a safety car, and it will slow the field down here as they work their way by the main flag stand. And this time, so that is Jake Jornstad's car. Is that Jake?
It looks like there might be a fire inside.
Yeah, there is a
car.
fire in the car. You see Jake getting out of the way, getting out of the car and to safety as quickly as he can. You see red flag now.
Red flag, red flag.
A fire is, that's like probably one of the scarier things to see in a race car. You get burned pretty quick.
Road America safety team immediately on scene, and they're going to go to work. And this is one of the most professional crews in all of motorsports, Matan.
Absolutely, Kyle. And I mean, that's something where, again, you can only control what you do. That was something completely out of anybody's control.
After another shortened race here for GridLife Touring Cup because of a fire on course, drivers okay, and we just got to get some green flag laps, Matan. We got to get the momentum rolling. It was going so well the first handful of laps.
Yeah, we had some good battles forming there, and just never got to really see them work their way out. So I hope for race 3 and 4 we get some more green laps here.
Coming into the weekend, most of the time I try to focus on building on the previous week, and that gets real difficult because you can have one setback, one little thing can ruin a session for you, and then you feel like you've gone 2 steps back. So it gets hard to keep building and building and building on top of what you feel like you've learned. And sometimes that fight can leave you if you have multiple incidents in the weekend. 2 sessions go bad, 3 sessions go bad. But then the power of like one good session, one good race with a new friend on track can bring you right back in. And then all that washes away.
It's like a team effort to actually make it through the race cleanly. Like, we need to work together, and you're syncing up 58 people on a racetrack who don't have any communication with each other than like car language or body language, you know.
So far this weekend, trouble in race 1 and a red flag in race 2, but it's time to go racing in race 3. Here we go. GLTC 3 wide as Aaron Lichty finds the hole next to Eric Meadows, and they storm down towards turn 1, Owen. Tight. 3 wide with Tony Marchev, Emil Tab, down towards turn 3. Pretty orderly, all things considered.
Yeah, looks like Aaron Lichty was able to take advantage of that braking zone in turn 1 and pull away with a little bit of an early lead here.
Now he's got to be on defense.
My mindset, I feel like the harder I try, the harder it gets. So I try to relax, and I try to let things come to me naturally. Don't force anything. The second I start forcing things or trying to make things happen, it's desperate. I always keep the word desperate in the back of my mind. Don't be desperate, Aaron. Don't hope, right? Just drive what you know, take what comes to you. Just always keep in the back of my mind that I want to load a shiny car on the trailer at the end of the day, and I want to have as many friends or maybe a few more than I showed up to the weekend with. That's my mindset.
Lichty leads.
Powers up.
Oh yeah, but not for long. Here comes the 7. Lichty's going to tuck back in line and try to get some slipstream here. The strength of that 7 car has long been the runs down the straightaway. Ryan Power on the brakes, really late on the brakes in that 245 there, Matan, but he got it done.
Nice polite pass there, left room in the braking zone. It was good actually to watch a full race. As an announcing point of view, I was like, oh, I actually have to talk for a way longer time, right? We're going to go side by side through the carousel. This is going to be a tough one. You're basically going to be compromising both their lines and exits there onto the back straight, Kyle.
Up the front straightaway, checkered flag is in the air, and Luke McGrew's powerhouse of a Corvette will win again at Road America. Race 3 is McGrew, then it's Lichty, Meadows, Magnuson, and Power, the rest of your top 5. And there we go, we got one all the way through with a little bit of a delayed start, Matan.
If I had to guess right about now, Luke's probably lighting up a cigarette.
So the ratio of working on the car to getting to drive the car.
You decide your own level of involvement.
Gosh, what is the ratio? Depends on how reliable of a car you build. What do we get in a week? An hour and a half of track time? So it's somewhere between 10 and 30 to 1. So why'd you ask me that? I'm like, damn, this is a bad investment.
Like when you look at it, it doesn't really make any sense. Like this event, I'll be driving close to 16 hours both ways, and I'll be on track for, what is it, like an hour and a half or something like that.
Driving the car is worth way more than the hours spent in the garage working on the car. No matter if you're one of the guys that's just changing oil between events, or you're trying to get every last little bit, corner balance and alignments, dyno, all that stuff. I mean, it's worth it in the end to come out and, you know, those clean races, those ones you come back from and you're just hanging with your buddies, that's worth a lot.
I try to act like the car is the person. So it's not that I'm racing an S2000, you know, I'm racing Lena. You know, I'm not racing a Corvette, I'm racing Luke.
And here comes Houghton, 3 wide up to turn 6. This is going to be a squeeze. Walbaum has to back out. Magnuson takes advantage, Owen into 6, and they're side by side for what's 3rd place now.
Yeah, I think that really just shows the level and skill and also care that our drivers really understand when they're driving out there on the track. They just actually love to be here, and they're not just out there to glory hunt. You know, they want to just love driving, and that's what they're doing.
Full green race is perfection, pretty much. From all 58 drivers, for 58 people to be all aligned in the same thinking, it's pretty special.
Scott Heckert picks up his first GRIDLIFE Touring Cup win, and it is a Corvette Sweet Matan here at Road America.
Great job, guys. You got it all.
Good. It sucks that I can watch you race this weekend, but
Yeah, seriously.
that's next best thing is having people in the booth. It's fun. So
Watching a GLTC race is pretty special and pretty amazing, especially when you compete with those people. It was pretty difficult to come back in. Like, yes, obviously I'm a driver, I know all these guys, but it's much different when you get out of the car, you have that adrenaline, you kind of have like the same vibe as everybody else, and you were racing them, and like everybody wants to talk to who they were just next to, and like, oh my God, like, can you believe we made that work or whatever? And you know, you're like, oh, it looked really cool from the live stream, but like, I don't know, it makes you think a little bit about these weekends. Just how it's interesting, like how driving together like that at a high competition brings these people together so tightly. It's like, man, like we have to spend all that money for that conversation. And then like spraying the champagne if you get on the podium is probably like the most fun.
Mr. Luke McGrew. Best family we ever could ask. We never ever imagined this series being this way. And we thank you all so much for being GRIDLIFE. You guys are GRIDLIFE. We're just here to help. Have the best night.
For the past 4 years, like this is what I do, which is like close to a quarter of my life. There's times where you're like just really drained and you're like, yeah, I kind of wish I could quit, but you have all these people who support you. Like you can't let all these other people down. I've put in the effort to get here, and I have the capability, I think, to do well and potentially, you know, win or do well in a season championship. And so it's like, well, I kind of want to prove it to myself I can do it too.
Yeah, I'd say that has a little water in it.